Yes, hello. We are so thrilled to be with you tonight. We got a little journey going in the background. Woo!
Hopefully for many of you, it's not just your weekly tasting, it is your nightly tasting now because our team is awesome and doing events every single night.
What's up, y'all? This is so exciting. This is smoky room.
I'm sorry, you keep going. I was just feeling the moment.
The smell of wine and cheap perfume. What's up, y'all? As we're waiting for people to come in, welcome. Let us know if you are celebrating something. Hello, Nancy. Good to see you again. It's great to have you back.
You guys, Carrie, awesome. I was about to say we have so many regulars and shop friends like Carrie Trucker-Pena. I know Katie Coyne is going to get on a little bit. So many of you guys who are regulars with us, so thank you.
Thank you.
As we literally blast at our palates tonight. We're breaking all the cheese rules, but we'll tell you about that later.
But I couldn't be more excited, y'all. This is flavored cheese class, y'all. It is time. Yes,
I have not had 4 of these cheeses, which is really fun for us. In fact, our team, I found out today, in a good way, our team was like, Kendall, stop bringing in all this new cheese because it's hard right now. We can't train each other, and we have very segmented teams. They're like, you're just plopping new cheese in left and right.
It's awesome. This is 7 cheeses that haven't been in our case in a long time. So I am super thrilled.
Or some of them ever.
Yeah, or some of them ever. Yep. Right? First time for tasting some of it.
Hello, Katie Coyne. What up, girl?
Woo! This is going to be sensational class. Let us know what you're drinking tonight, y'all. What are you pairing with the evening? What do you got tonight?
I know everybody's drinking a Rambler because Rambler gave us everybody one for free.
Woo!
And it might sound like, I don't know, a promotion or hogwash. We are not being paid to do this. We're not that fancy. We're not that smart to get money that way.
We just love Rambler.
But we're going to talk about why tonight, out of all the nights, Rambler has sponsored us. Sponsored us sounds funny. They just gave out a free Rambler to everybody for all of our June tastings. Never has it been more needed than tonight because there's so many flavors happening that you're really going to need a palate cleanser. So if you're not a sparkling water person, awesome. Grab your water, grab your Topo Chico. I'm hoping you're grabbing a Rambler. And then you can have other drinks as well. Last week we did a soda and cheese pairing, a non-alcoholic event, so we can pair with sodas if you want. I am tonight, what am I drinking? A Sancerre.
Sancerre, yes. Awesome. Back of the closet Sancerre that we...
I'm going to admit, I would like to say because we're in the artisanal world that we don't ever do this, but this is from my sister's wedding 5 years ago.
5?
Yeah.
Oh, 12.
I was pregnant.
Yeah, 2012.
Okay, the point is this wine was really not meant to age, but it's the only one I had, so I'm drinking it.
So fun. Yeah, time goes fast when you're having a great time in a cheese shop. Well, our song is about to wrap up.
I don't know, I feel like the song goes on forever.
Love it. I'm so glad we got to play the whole thing.
Okay, Joaquin is drinking cream soda. Awesome.
I love that. That'll go great with these. Now, I got to...
Okay, especially number... What is this? 5. Especially with the fenugreek.
You can do the math. 1, 2...
I don't do math. I mean...
All right. Well, tell us what you're...
Sure I do.
We got some notes of what people are pairing with their drink tonight. Tell us if you're celebrating something. We'd love to give you a shout-out on old Facebook here. We left our refrigerator open, huh?
Yep.
We are rocking and roll. We are... a little behind the 8 ball because after a hard day of work and play, I actually fell asleep 25 minutes ago on the couch.
I was wondering if you were going to be honest.
Why not?
As of 4.5 minutes ago, John was asleep on the couch.
I've been snoozing.
I feel like we were a little more mature than our years, but when have you last taken a nap?
A nap?
Now you're not going to fall asleep, honey.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna crush tonight. We're gonna have a great time. So thanks for being here, y'all. We are thrilled. We are the Antonellis. We've been doing Facebook Live now every week since the 21st of March because, well, we all wanted to do something different. COVID has had some major downs, some opportunities to connect with people in new, unique ways. So we've been doing this ever since March 21st. We are... thrilled that we've gotten to do it. We're going to continue, hopefully, doing Facebook Lives for the foreseeable future. But next week will be the first week we're not doing it together on a Wednesday night. I'll be doing a Cheese 201. We're launching cheese two.
Oh, y'all should do it. I'll be watching from the other room with children.
Yeah, with a cheese scientist that is going to come in and talk decoding the science of cheese. So I'm excited about that. But this is sort of our last every single week until maybe September, October when we pick it up again.
Okay, but for the record, after next Wednesday's, it's the science of cheese making, specifically with food scientist Pat Pulowski. So it's awesome. So all of you, especially if you've taken our Cheese 101, you should definitely sign up for it. He's just amazing.
Awesome. And
we're going to do it together, and we'll be tasting cheese. But the week after that, we are coming back together, and John has been lobbying for this since we very first started. It's a cheese and honey pairing, which we normally do on a small scale, but it's really hard to do in a large scale and also in a format where we prepare it in the morning, because usually if it's class, we just pour the honey right as you're coming in and we plate it and get out to you. And this is hard to pre-do all that in a large format. So you're bringing in some special honeys. Anyway, we're excited for that honey and cheese class.
But I'm thrilled to be here tonight.
Flavored cheeses!
The point of my story was just to say how special it's been to be with y'all so many weeks in a row.
Over 5,000 people have taken this class. I need to restate that, because some of you, tell me how many times you've been on, but somebody has been on 12 tastings with us since the pandemic hit. So thank you. And what that also says to me is it's our own personal value, but that you are hopefully really...
Our kids are yelling in the background. This is awesome.
We're coming to you from our home. Elia, please be quiet, honey.
You're doing fantastic, my love. Let's do this.
So what I was saying, though, is some of you have taken this over all the different classes with us to really help us stay here. And it's important to us that we're still giving people something to do for those of us who are still social distancing and staying indoors and not going out to restaurants and bars. However, support your restaurants. So many are still doing curbside pickup, even if their websites aren't great about saying it. I just call and they will run it out to us. Like Lone Star Kolaches for Father's Day. They weren't officially doing
Lone Star Kolaches, y'all.
Curbside, but I called sitting in the parking lot and she ran them out to me. Okay. Awesome. Flavored cheeses.
Courtney is celebrating their first official home. Congratulations,
that is
Courtney.
Huge,
that's
Courtney.
Awesome. We're celebrating with you. We are loving that. That's awesome.
Okay, I think...
Hopefully you're sitting on a box. Like in my brain, I'm picturing like all you have is 2 boxes in the living room, and that's what you're eating your cheese plates on. It's awesome.
Julie, our friend Julie Nyhoff, commented authentic kid noises. Yes.
Awesome.
And today our dogs are under our feet. So we'll see how we make it through.
Family time.
We're kind of letting it all hang out today.
So flavored cheese. Why so special? Why are we doing a flavored cheese class?
I'm going to rephrase that.
Yeah.
Why do we not normally do flavored cheese class? Or if for any of you who've been into our shop, because yes, if this is your first interaction with us, we're just 2 people in our home right now talking about cheese plates, but we actually have a 10-year-old business. We opened Antonellis Cheese Shop February 2010, and we provide cut-to-order cheese and cured meats and beer and wine and jams and honeys and chutneys, representing smaller artisans who make their food in a way that we think is great for their animals, their teams, the planet, and delicious for us. So why is it that we've never done a flavored cheese class? Well, part of it is that our cheese case, if you've been into the shop, only fits about 100 cheeses max at a time. And so when we first opened, I remember people coming in, it was like a Monty Python skit. Well, do you carry blueberry Winsordale? And do you carry triple cranberry, something rubbed in cocoa powder, and blah, blah, blah. And the point being that once you go flavored, it's hard to go back. And by that I mean there's so many flavors. We would never make everybody happy in all the flavorings that you could provide. And then 2, we can only have 100 cheeses. So our goal is really showcase all the artisans, the cheese makers, and really showcase their quality of milk. So oftentimes when you add a flavor in, you are either masking the quality of the milk or you're just hiding it and covering up this amazing milk. So for a lot of the people that we do carry flavored, it's because we also carry a version that doesn't have flavor additions in it. That being said, we're throwing all those rules out today.
We are. And we spent hours upon hours researching what cheeses we wanted to showcase tonight so that we could give you a sense of all the spectrum of different flavors that exist. And so
Okay, admittedly, we ended up cow heavy.
Yeah, we did. I see that now. Sure.
And we didn't have a lot of sheep milk cheeses, but that was also, there aren't a lot of sheep milk cheeses on the market because sheep milk cheese is the most expensive, and so a lot of people just don't want to mess with it or mess it up. But we did just do a Green Dirt Farm.
Yep.
And so we were trying not to duplicate. But anyway, that being said, we put a lot of research into these. And we polled cheesemongers across the United States. So, yes, you'll get to talk tonight, honey. But some of these I've never tasted because other cheesemongers were like, you have to do this one. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll order it in without having tasted it.
And so we're going to get to taste it. How many of them have I not tasted? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tonight.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is awesome. Y'all, thank you for being a part of the tasting. As we go through tonight, use the chat feature. Ask us questions. We love tangents. We're really good at them. It looks like this leaf is poking me in the head, but it is not. It is optical illusion at this point. But ask some questions. Keep us on our toes. I'm ready to start eating. I would love to dive in and get some flavors hitting my palate. And I noticed that you accidentally, for your picture, stole my cookie. I will take the little one.
No. You're a big cookie eater. Yeah. Okay. So
she loves me.
If this is your first tasting, let us know. Please comment because we'll know where to go. But this is different from our Cheese 101. If you haven't taken a Cheese 101 with us or any of our team, please do because they will go in depth on why is this cheese with the white rind so different from this other one and should I eat it or not. Cheese 101. That being said, you've got your bread on your plate. We are going to ask you to just use that as palate cleanser and eat it in between bites. But really, each time we invite you to eat a bite of cheese, we want you to eat it naked or in the buff. And that's because we want you to taste that cheese on your tongue, on your palate. If you put it on bread and then eat the bread, you're going to taste the bread and not the cheese. 2, we're going to go in a certain order.
Yep.
So John and I both have the big fluffy white mound that looks like an ice cream scoop.
Ooh, I can't get a good picture tonight.
Mine's at 12 o'clock. John's is at 1 o'clock.
Mine's at 1 o'clock, big fluffy. And then we're going to go around the outside. And I'll try to remember to type in what we're tasting and how we're pairing it as we go.
And we're going to talk about what the cheese is first so that you can dive in. And we'll tell you there's going to be a certain way to eat it. And then we'll talk about what we paired with it. All the pairings were just in theory, and so let us know if you like it. If you don't, maybe we missed the spot, maybe we got it right, and we'll go from there. Sound like a plan?
Yeah, we're getting blown up now with first timers.
Yeah, awesome.
This is great, y'all. First tastings. This
Jacqueline,
is
Linda, Allison, Callie, Christine, Shane. Thank you guys. All right, so that means we got to do our calibration.
Yep.
I'll eat it so you get to talk.
Okay. So if everybody, we've done this every time. If you pick up one of the Cuicos, the little corn nuts in the middle of your plate, go ahead and pinch your nose and pay attention to what's happening on your tongue. There's 5 major things that you can pick up: salt, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami. And when you're like, oh, I really know what this thing tastes like, unpinch your nose and exhale out through your nostrils. And let that thank you. Aha.
That was more like a fake scream in a horror movie.
What we're doing in this moment is just getting our senses aligned. So the tongue gives us the taste of an item. The nose provides the aroma, and together the brain creates flavor. And so we want to make sure that during this tasting, oh, there's a sweetness. Hey, sweetness. You can eat some of my. Oh, you can have one of the. Do the corn nut. Pinch your nose. See, we make everyone do it. But what we really want you to do in this tasting, because a lot of the herbal notes or the flavors, you probably won't pick up on your tongue, but you will pick up in your olfactory. So exhale out and let that happen. Let that be a part of the experience, because that's what the cheesemakers are going for here. A really exciting experience on the hard palate and then in the olfactory. So chew on it, enjoy it. There might be spice, so you might get some of that happening. And so I don't know if you want to add anything else. The fluffy white clouds kind of calling my name.
Hi, Isa. Flavor is taste plus aroma, which is what you said.
Yeah.
And let's do it, I think.
Let's do it.
Oh, it just sometimes breaks our heart a little bit when we see people at a wine tasting and they're trying to be fancy, which, by the way, that doesn't break our heart, but nobody needs to be fancy here. We're all presumably, like, y'all saw, I'm in my, well, I'm not in Spanx. What are these things? Tights, running pants? I don't even know anymore. I've just lost my vocabulary. I'm in these house things, waist down. So none of us need to be fancy here. This is all, we're about making cheese fun and taking the pretension out of it. And cheese should be of and for and by the people and accessible to everybody. So that's the goal here tonight. That being said, you'll see people go to a wine or beer tasting and they really take their time and they assess everything. And then they just pop back the cheese mindlessly. So our goal is to let you know by the end of the night, just how much labor of love has gone into these products, oftentimes more than beer or wine, although it's not a competition. But I'm just saying, hands have to touch this stuff a lot, especially during the aging process, whereas some other things you might just leave or rotate once in a while. So let's taste our big fluffy white ball.
Yeah, I am super thrilled to have this back. So this is one of the cheeses that I've had the pleasure of enjoying. This is our anniversary celebration cheese. Was this 2 years ago?
No, longer.
3, 4 years? A couple of years ago, Chrissy of
Handful of years
CKC
ago.
Farm came to us and asked.
Give it a smell first, y'all. Sorry.
We talked to her. She makes some really amazing flavored cheeses. If you've had her pumpkin chev or her cranberry chev or her peach chipotle that comes out around this time of year, she makes amazing flavored cheeses. And we really wanted something special for our shop anniversary. So February 11th, 2010 was when we opened. So every year we celebrate. And she came up with this recipe for us, this chocolate orange chef. So we call this our anniversary cheese.
chef.
And it is addicting. It is wonderful and delicious. CKC comes from Blanco. Chrissy, Kenneth, and Connor are the kids in the family.
Okay, they're kids. They're now
They're
all
now adults.
Like
They were.
Chrissy is an adult woman.
I'm going to eat
and
while you talk.
Kenneth is now an adult man, I think, in college or so. But when we met them 10 years ago, which is weird to us, we were kids younger when we started, and now we're older. But just how time flies, and now we realize, oh, we're of those people who are like, when I first met you, you were this big. But yeah, Chrissy started making cheese when she was like 16 after a trip to Europe that inspired her. She trained with Amelia and went to a class at Pure Luck Farm and Dairy in Dripping Springs.
Amelia was on.
Yep, Amelia tells us, you guys buy Pure Luck whenever you can as well. But Amelia tells us that she listens to us each Wednesday when she's milking the goats, when she's doing the evening milking. So Chrissy started, she got La Mancha, Nubian, and Sanin goats? I don't know why. No. And Alpine. Alpine, Nubian, and La Mancha goats. Because the breed does make a difference in one, their characteristics of the animals, two, how much milk they produce, and then in some cases the flavor profile of that milk. And so this is just a fun one that she's made. She now, I want to give a little plug because I have not had these, but y'all should follow it on Facebook. Sunshine Texas Cookies. She's now also doing these cookie things because she lives in San Marcos. And they're like the big kind of cookies that you bite into and there's like a layer of cream in them. And I don't understand the physics of how it works, but I just know I have to get some.
Yeah, we're working on acquiring some
Especially
for our
during the
own
pandemic.
personal experience.
I need
Imagine
some for
this
this weekend.
inside of that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so back to
That
the
would be
cheese.
insane.
Back to the cheese. What else do we want to say about it?
It's the way when it's whipped together, it gets this really luscious, like cheesecake texture. And
Which is ironic because when she first started out, she said she was trying to make goat's milk cheeses and everything turned out into consistency of cheesecake. So they just started selling a lot of things under the label of cheesecake when she was actually trying to make cheese. But
Yeah.
they got there.
they
clearly.
eventually got there. We've been we in those early days would have to drive to the farmer's market every Saturday, go to their stall, we'd pick up our wholesale order, bring it back to the shop. Labor of love.
It's such a perfect example of, got it the wrong way, sweet and savory.
Yeah.
And this is one of those that, like, say after dinner I need a little sweet bite, I could eat, and it's a healthy sweet bite because it's cheese. Cheese is healthy, y'all. We can get into that at a different time. But it's protein filling and delicious.
Yep.
Okay, you paired it tonight.
I did. This was not fair. This is like, you know, the graham cracker crust on the bottom of like a good pie, a cheesecake.
So we're making a
We're
cheesecake.
basically making a cheesecake. These are Effie's oatcakes. These are a 4th generation
You did a
recipe
good
from
job.
Nova Scotia down into Massachusetts. And it's basically, I always talk about it just being like, somehow they solidified butter. And that's kind of with a nice bit of salt in the middle. And I just absolutely love these biscuits.
I mean, because of the citrus, it's like a play on key lime pie, except you've got the orange chocolate. When I pair the cookie with it, I lose a little bit of the chocolate in my bite, but it brings out the orange, like the citrus in there. It's delicious.
I get the
He wanted to pair this cookie, and I wanted to pair chocolate. So I think it was delicious.
the acid too.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think it was awesome. I don't know what y'all think.
I think I should try a little Rambler with it.
But I love Effie's, and these are just great little snacks. This is usually what I take on an airplane if I'm going to have a ride. Better than the Biscoffs that you get for free.
Awesome. Okay, you're about to break our rule. Save a little bit back from each tasting. If you have, we always say that too late. I know you've already eaten it all, but try to save a little bit back. And we do that for two reasons. One, we want you to mix and match pairings as we go through here, because when we get to the chocolate, I do think it'd be fun to go back and taste the chocolate with this and see if we can bring out more of that chocolate flavor. But two, our goal, we are big believers in the last bite should be your best bite. We would like to end on a high. So save a little bit back from each one so that whatever happens at the end of the night, you can have your favorite last bite and think that we did a good job. Okay.
Shout out to Michelle Harum, who just signed in.
Love
Michelle,
Effie's.
on Saturday night, we did our behind the scenes tasting with Cypress Grove, where we got to go behind the scenes and check out where Humboldt fog is made. And Michelle was the main presenter that night. Anyway, shout out, because as a flavored cheese, their brand new Humboldt fog remix Chipotle Cacao is spicy and awesome. We're going to be rolling it out in the shop. It's brand new to the world, and we'll be rolling it out in the shop in the near future. So get your hands on some of it if you we tasted it on Saturday. It is awesome. That was a really great first.
It was a good way to start.
I'm happy.
All right, so flavored cheeses. We just wet our whistle. We got one in. That was a fresh style cheese. It was made recently, within the last week to 2 weeks. Meant to be eaten within the week to 2 weeks. Just supreme fresh quality milk. So we're gonna move into our Bloomy Rind. And you know that we take our cheese 101, but it has a thin, we have a wash shop right where we're at, but it has this thin white rind on it.
Let's find a good,
And
there we
this
go,
is
babe.
studded with, you can see little black specks in it. This is actually triple cream brie with truffles. This, so those are black Italian truffles that are inside there. Because it's a triple creme brie, it means it has over 75% butter fat. Yes, you can eat the rind on this one, but I would love for you in the first bite you get to get just the inside of it and then get a bite with the rind, because it's two completely different experiences, and I love both. So the reason when we said let's do flavored cheese class, I was like, we gotta do this one. My sister, again, I clearly can't remember when she got married, so sometime a ways back. Also not as fun for me because I was pregnant, very, very pregnant. And we went to Jordan Winery in California, and they took us back into this secret room, because this is one of those times when we're like, we just own a cheese shop. I don't really understand it, but because they found out we are in the business, they gave us this awesome 5-star treatment. And so they took us back into the secret room and brought out all these vintages of wines. But one of the cheeses they put with it was this Marin triple creme brie with truffles, which, as you know, we don't carry flavored cheeses. My sister was like, this is my favorite cheese I've ever had. You guys have to carry it. So every once in a while we bring it in Christmas time just for her. But we knew if we were doing flavored cheese class, we'd have to bring it in. So we're going to Truffle World.
So what I want you to start, there's a little chalky sort of center to it, then the cream line, and then the rind. Start by eating that chalky center, then try the cream line, then try the rind.
Smell it first, y'all.
That smells like truffle. Oh.
So, and there are some people who are just like, truffle all the way, all day. I think truffle can get overused in life. But the right application is everything. I'm also personally not a big fan of truffle oil, but I like actual truffles and things, so hence this. And the
Katie
truffle,
said OMG truffles.
Yeah,
I get it. I get it.
So I just put it in my mouth, but coupled with the triple cream, there's a reason to be there. It's like umami bomb. Ugh. It's like got gravitas on your palate.
It's tasting great. I asked.
Mine was a little bit young, so we all have different wheels out there tonight. I would have liked mine a little bit aged out, because it would have been just a tad bit creamier, and perhaps I took these out of the fridge too recently and they're not all the way room temp, but it can be a lot creamier.
But overall, what's nice, and the reason why we put it early, is there are certain products that have truffle in it that your palate's gone the rest of the night. You take that bite and you're not going to really taste anything else. There's a delicateness to this. And if you're breathing out through your nose... I like it better
with the rind, actually.
Yeah. If you're breathing out through your nose, you'll end up getting a lot more nuances of the cheese and not just of the truffle. The truffle is there at the very beginning, and it's intense, but it sort of elevates away. And I think that's why it's a really special cheese. It's not only one-dimensional.
Do you want to tell
them
what they're pairing it with? Well, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about this cheese maker.
Yeah, so this is the triple creme with truffles from Marin French, and we're pairing it with Finocchiona from Olympia Provisions. It's a fennel-based salami. I was trying to type and talk at the same time.
I was pretty
I was
impressed.
pretty impressed,
how are you
right? I was
doing
getting
that?
it. I almost done.
If you see us looking around, it's because we have multiple screens set up so we can watch the chats, type in one window, and talk to you all at once.
So that's what I was typing. I just hit enter while I was talking. So this is Pinocchio, it's a fennel-based salami from Olympia Provisions in Portland, Oregon. Eli and his sister are amazing producers and purveyors. One of the things that separates them and differentiates them from others is they use actually fresh herb. They make their own like spice blends in-house. There's this spice room, and it's a very special place where they're making their blends, they're making their mixes, and trying to use fresh herbs as much as possible. That fennel will stand, sort of that herbal sweet note of the fennel will stand up to that truffle really well, hopefully, right off the bat. It's likely that the truffle will continue to kind of overpower, but we'll find out. I haven't done it yet.
And usually I don't recommend if you're drinking red wines this early on in kind of our progression of tasting, but because of this style of cheese, because of the high fat content with being a triple creme, and because it has those truffles in it, this could definitely take a red wine with it too. So red wine drinkers, have fun with it, go all the way to town. It's really going to bring out the earthiness in it, that in a good way, the dirt, that cave, that kind of flavor profile. Soil. I was looking for the word soil. Excuse me. Soil, not dirt. I know. Don and I are like, dirt, that's what it is, in a good way, but we're supposed to say soil.
I'm so surprised how much the salami stayed with it.
Yeah. I ate the salami, then the truffle came through, and I thought, oh, you're right, it overpowered it, and then at the very end, the salami came back.
The salami came back.
Yeah.
That's super incredible.
Okay, so this, I did not know this beforehand, but so this is made by Marin French in Marin County. They say on their website, at least, that they've been making cheese since 1865, which makes them the longest continually operating cheese maker in the United States. So no stops throughout the period. They are not, our last cheesemaker was Farmstead, CKC Farms. What that means is that they have their own animals that they milk on the farm, and they make their cheese on the farm. It all happens there, so the milk doesn't travel far. Because you can get off flavors if you're not treating the milk well, and it sits for a long time before it's made into cheese or is really rustled in transit. So Marin County does source their milk from neighboring farms, but it's all within 15 miles in nearby Marin County and Sonoma County. And while they are sourcing some other milks, this is a cow's milk cheese, and it's made from the milk of Guernsey, Jersey, and Holstein cows. And Guernsey and Jersey have a richer, fattier milk profile. And then specifically, the other fun fact is that I think in 2005, I'll have to fact check it, but this cheese won a gold in its category for the World Cheese Awards based in London, and it was the first time that an American cheese had ever taken the category, so beating all the French cheeses and whatnot, which was huge.
That was super good. I'm so happy.
Were you not like into all my like fact bomb dropping? You're just thinking
you
about
were
what tastes
crushing
good?
it.
Thank you.
Were crushing it. But I knew you would. You always do.
Happy date night, y'all.
Yeah, welcome to our date night.
I think it was our first kiss on Facebook Live. Sorry, y'all. Oh gosh, he's the cheese ball. So moving on.
That's right.
This one I would definitely palate cleanse. Although now that I've talked so much, it isn't sticking around as much as I thought it would. Because we kind of had to argue like what order we're going to go in, not wanting things to sit on your palate too long so you taste them during the next cheese. So I'm going to drink my Rambler.
That sounds fantastic. If anybody has any questions, just shoot them our way. We're moving into our third pairing, and I'm really excited about this one. This is one I haven't tasted yet before.
Did you already eat one piece? I looked at our plates and I was like, oh, they gave this plate 2 pieces, but there's only one little piece now. Cheetah. Okay.
It was before class started, so.
Well, I can't pick mine up because I have stuff all over it, so you got to talk about yours. Okay.
It has blueberries in it. How was I not going to try it?
Okay, y'all. Okay, I'm pretty sure everybody always gets lost in cheese tasting. This one is obvious. Look for this one, and it's in place like 4 o'clock, and it's studded with blueberries. Take it away, honey.
I love blueberries. I've had an infatuation with blueberries like my whole life, and so anything with blueberries gets my attraction. So when we were searching, so we've tried our sort of sweet that chocolate flavor at the beginning. Then we had those mushrooms, which is a mushroom as an added flavor is a pretty common flavor. So each cheese is a bucket of sort of if we were having a competition where we, enter flavored cheeses with fruit, or flavored cheeses with mushroom, or flavored cheeses with spice. So we ended up needing to do some research. There are examples of cheeses, famous cheeses that have fruit in them, but we wanted to find something.
A lot of British cheeses.
Some British cheeses, and we wanted to
we
find
didn't have time
something
to get those in
domestically.
by the time we also ordered.
And so we found ourselves with Vermont Farmstead. We actually used this cheese maker for one of our Cheese of the Month clubs recently. And so I was eager to go back and check them out again and find out some new stuff they're making. They're based out of Vermont. So they began as like a community effort in 2009. They wanted to, they raised money as a community and purchased this land and this equipment and stuff, and they started making cheeses and launched their first cheese in 2011 around that time. And the little bibe, they do a small format soft ripened cheese, which is insanely good. But then they also do some of these more aged cheeses. They do a brick style, they do cheddar styles, they do a wide variety. But this Winsordale Blueberry got this really nice saltiness to it and a really great acidity.
When I just tasted it, my brain beforehand tricked me into thinking this is going to be sweet. So I tasted it and I was like, it's not sweet at all. And it's a salty cheese. And instead it has more of that acid with acid. So I think this is a cheddar style, and it has that acid of the fruit in it. Because I was a little bit worried when we were going to pair it with this wild blueberry lemon jam from Robert Lambert. I thought, it's going to be too much sweet.
Cloying.
Yeah, cloyingly sweet. And instead, I haven't done it now, but I think it's actually going to pair beautifully and bring some of the blueberry out of the cheese. Let's see. Let's test that theory.
I like wild blueberries, like the flavor that goes into this. You can see where some of that blueberry juice is. The curds didn't have a chance to like coalesce together, so it crumbles apart more so than like a cheddar. There's fissure points, which is cool. What'd you think?
We killed that pairing.
Killed it. So this is wild.
That's awesome. I mean, you might think, duh, but really, we had a little bit of a lover's quarrel. Like, should we actually do blueberry with blueberry? It's going to overdo it.
Having not tasted the cheese before, we have to.
Also, this is one of our top selling, customer favorite jams. So Robert Lambert out of California, he only sells, I think, to 4 or 5 people nationwide. He's like already retired 4 times. We don't know, but there's just a handful of us who are representing him, and he doesn't want to do anymore. And a large part of that is because it's just him. And he does a very laborious, meticulous process. A lot of great jam makers will tell you they want the least amount of products in their jam. He somehow manages to have like 7 or 8, but it's all about finding this perfect right balance. And it's just a splash of this and a touch of that. And it's truly this art that he's perfected, and it's delicious.
In fact, in this jam is our other most popular jam that we sell, which is the raspberry champagne jelly that he makes. He uses some of that in this jam because that's the balance that gives this crazy
for the
good flavor.
geranium and.
Isn't that awesome?
So good.
So good. Linda, I appreciate your comment that your in-laws aren't as exciting as this awesome cheese. I haven't met them yet, but
I'm sure they have redeeming qualities, Linda.
Quality. They have yeah.
Ellie, I completely agree with you that the sharpness of the cheese was brought out with the berries alone. So I like that sweetness then that plays in with it with the jam.
I am just super happy right now. I'm like,
this is. I was gonna say this is your jam.
This is
your
totally
jam.
my
It's a cheese with blueberries that has blueberry jam on it.
It's like, yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
I love blueberries. I don't know what y'all think, but this is awesome.
Now you're turned into just sitting and watching Kittle and John eat our own cheese.
No.
Somehow at the end of these things, he always manages to eat it all, and I can only like take a bite here and there. It's because I talk all the time.
No, it's because I talk with my mouth full. I don't have manners.
One or the other.
Well, we are so excited.
Okay.
That was a good
Moving
first
on.
three. So now we've done our sort of chocolatey flavor, our mushroom flavor, and our fruit. So what would be next? I mean,
So we did like dessert, and then we did appetizers, and then we did like I don't know, amuse-bouche.
Now you're stretching. Keep going. Keep going.
All right, so now we're to our main meat course. We are moving to Hook's cheddar with bacon in it, and we brought this in for our Cheese of the Month Club, and I have not tried it, but did you get to try it? And our team tried it to bring it in for our club. So I'm really excited to have this. This is from Wisconsin. It's another pasteurized cheese. I think we're doing oh no, we have one raw milk cheese tonight, which we'll talk about in a minute. So it is also pasteurized. We have one vegetarian in the audience, so we'll talk about your tonight, the cheese that we subbed out for you. But let's talk about this cheese.
Wow. If you can't guess what's on the inside based off of the menu, we're just going to leave you in the dark. This is got bacon bits in it, y'all. This is awesome. This bacon cheddar, we use this cheese for one of our COMC Cheese of the Month clubs, because I was doing my research and I was like,
you guys, it's like he didn't listen when I just said that.
Well, I was busy. I was responding to Callie, who said that she typically doesn't like blueberry, but that cheese was her jam. So
I'll give it to you.
So I missed it. But these bacon bits, Hook's, Julie and Tony Hook are based out of Mineral Point, Wisconsin, and they are really well known for. They've been doing this since early '80s, late '70s. For many cheeses, we sell a lot of their blue cheeses. We love what they do with blue cheese. But they started making more like cheddars and Swiss styles, Colby, Monterey Jack, those types of flavors. And in 1982, their Colby won Best of Class at the World Cheese Awards. And so they've expanded their offerings. And this one, meat introduced into cheese is a super cool thing. There's not many cheeses like this on the market.
I'll talk about the coloring, but I did have a question, or we had a question come up from Michelle, is how does the meat not go bad in this cheese?
Right.
Do we know? I don't actually know, Michelle, so we'll reach out and ask the cheesemaker, except to say I think it would be the same as just like blueberries. Blueberries didn't go bad either. And so either a dried or cooked food, and then I'm guessing that this cheddar is vacuum sealed as it's aging. So that would play into it as well. The
dehydration of the beef, and then it's a very salty product, a very salty cheese, so that probably preserves it even more. And so that's a great question. We'll find out. But it works, and it is highly salted. You can taste it. Even Ellie just pointed out, lots and lots of salt.
So we paired this with tin mustard because this is like our savory course. And it does. Just the cheese makes me feel like, it takes me right back to when I was a kid and would go hiking with my dad, and we'd pull out some like saltines and just like summer sausage and a hunk of some cheddar that was not any amazing thing, but we'd sit there and eat them on the trail, and all of that goes into this one bite for me, and then I'm ready to add in.
I love it. The most comments we got were to answer that question. A bunch of food signs that showed up. I love it. Tom Perry is here. And so...
Wait, you're going to read Tom's? We got a lot of cheese people in our feed today that are not in Texas. So y'all can read. Are you going to not read it? I got to eat and read it?
Well, the water activity is so low, and the bacon bits are dehydrated, and there's a ton of salt, so low incidence of spoilage. And
so good with the mustard. I just feel like it took it home.
Yeah, so it was so good. This is tin mustard from Brooklyn. You mentioned it earlier.
If you see my mouth being funny, it's because it's the little mustard seeds, which we like to call Texas caviar. And
crunchy, crunch.
Popping them in my mouth. Yes, Katie.
This is one of my favorite products. Oftentimes when you see a whole grain mustard like this, your brain says spicy, spicy, spicy.
That's what traditional deli mustard does.
But this one is almost smooth. It's calm on your palate. It's just got a really robust flavor of mustard without the heat. I love this brand of mustard. This is our shop, my shop. Most people don't shop for us for mustard, but we keep it anyway because I like to eat it. So
we have a few products that's just like, we clearly only stock this because Kendall and John buy it and nobody else does. That sounded
like somebody.
a 6-year-old mouse trying to get something in the cabinet that she's not supposed to.
I think she was up on top of a stool trying to get candy and it dropped. She was gonna.
We're gonna hear crying in a second.
We're about to find out.
So what we like about that mustard, though, this mustard has been really hard for us to source lately. But John is like, stick it out. Are you okay? We know you're eating candy. Okay. That look she gives me. I'm sorry. I know that where she gets it from.
It's all good.
Now Luna's up in here too. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I love it with the mustard. It brings it all together. Again, so what we're looking for in that pairing, you get acid with acid. Like that cheese is a high acid cheese with the mustard is highly acidic. But together, they mellow each other out in a way that I think is just beautiful. Nobody won out on my palate when we're looking for pairings. We want them both to rise to the occasion together and not for there to be one superstar unless we're trying to showcase one thing. There's the dog. There you go. We have everybody tonight. This is like a full family affair with the Antonellis.
I'm digging this right now.
Okay. So that's what we're looking for in types of pairing world. This pairing to me, I don't know. It actually would be pretty challenging to fight with tannin to me with a big bold red. This one screams to me for a beer or cider for any of you beer drinkers out there. So I would do this with some sort of ale. It can even do a porter or stout, kind of going on like German flavor profiles.
So this is our protein category. There was this, I don't know if I ever told you, there's this rumor in the judging and competition group. We asked the judging and competition committee for ACS, it's been around since 1983. So
American Cheese Society.
American Cheese Society. And those of us that volunteered for it for years and years, would constantly ask questions for the folks that have been doing it for 15, 20, even 30 years on the committee. And one of the questions that I asked once was like, what was one of the weirdest cheeses that came into a category? And they said one year there was a fish or a cheese that had fish on the inside of it, crumbled fish, just like this, but picture like salmon. It was, and so I even looked for it just for this tasting, but I couldn't find it. I don't think it made it very far. That might have been its only time in the.
Should we talk about it next cheese?
Yes. I thought it was a great story.
It was a good story. I just got the dogs. I got sidetracked.
Before the class started, you said, I think we should keep the dogs out.
I know. I felt bad, like quarantining them again.
You can't see the
No,
nose.
they can't, but they've seen some heads pop by. Okay. So, there you go. You can see it. This is our 16-year-old pup.
We didn't talk about Sea Hive for the
Yes.
vegetarian.
Okay, so to our vegetarian superstar, I was vegetarian for many years, and in fact, many people in cheese and meat once were or are. Sea Hive, our vegetarian cheese is Sea Hive tonight from Beehive Cheese Company, rubbed in sea salt and
Redmond real salt and wildflower honey from Utah. Super good. It is awesome.
And we kept it with the mustard. I was like, no, and John said yes. And so really it was still pairing that cheddar is highly acidic, so the acid with the acid and the sweet and savory.
Yeah.
Right?
It's going to go great.
Okay.
Cheddar and mustard?
Really excited about this next cheese because I have had it years ago. And by years ago, I mean like 9 years ago. It also used to be one of our first cheesemongers' favorite cheeses. But even though we never carried it in the shop. And so we're moving to a Gouda. And this is the Fenugreek Marique Gouda. So
this one has an orange wax rind on the outside. If you see it, if your plate got messed up. Oh, wow.
Smell it. It's you can smell that like faux sweet smell.
To me, the fenugreek, which is the seasoning in here, the seed, has like almost like a maple syrup or dark rum molasses flavor or aroma. And so that sweetness comes through. This is a common flavor add in a Dutch style cheese. So Penterman Farm is in Wisconsin, and their specialty is Gouda, Marique Gouda. Marique is the name of the cheesemaker, and this is their Gouda. So they do just young, medium, mature aged Goudas, and then they do the flavored adds. And this fenugreek it's just a super cool flavor profile.
She is a Dutch immigrant who moved to Wisconsin and then bought land and started making cheese. She sweeps the Gouda categories every year at the American Cheese Society conference. And so this is the 2 to 4 month. Is this the 2 to 4 month?
2 to 4 month,
okay.
Yep.
She's a 2 to 4 month. There's like I don't remember they're 4 to 8, but there's like a 6 to 9 month, and then a 9 to 12 month, and then age past that. And she will take each category for non-flavored, and then she'll take, oh, and by the way, she'll take like first, second, and third. And she's known for doing these amazing dances up onto the stage as she takes it. But she's really owned the Gouda category.
Such good work in this category.
And so fenugreek is an herb and spice, and it does make it seem like that pancakes, like I'm eating salted pancakes.
Exhale out through your nose while you're chewing. It becomes much more herbal and a little woodsy, not just sweet, which I think is super cool on a tasting like this.
And the texture of this, because it's 2 to 4 months, if it has, so as a cheese ages, it loses more moisture content. So the more aged out a cheese is, the harder it will become. This one, because it's 2 to 4 months, it's still retaining a lot of that moisture, and I just love that toothsomeness. Like, it's just like melting on my palate, and I get to keep chewing on it. And tonight we paired this with Texas Pecan Brittle. Texas Brown Butter Pecan Brittle Bar.
From Wildwood Chocolate. Stephen Lawrence used to live here in Austin, and he bought the house of one of our best friends, and he just happened to mention that he was getting into chocolate at the time, and so we met with him, and this was an example of a bar that he was just tinkering around with, and we were like, give us the exclusive, we'll sell so many of these things, and we did, and he did, and he ended up moving to Portland, and changing the name of the company to Wildwood Chocolate.
First of all, to all the strong ladies out there, he moved to Portland because his wife got tenure there.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, just saying.
And now I'm chewing.
Okay, and once you get you can't eat anymore. But once he moved, and I still have the brittle, the only thing I don't like about the brittle is like it stays with you all night. So once he moved to Portland, we're like, oh, okay, maybe we can't carry it because we carry it in our shop, too expensive to ship. And then our customers were like, what? We're not going to have it. And so John called him up, and he's like, okay, we'll basically finance you. We're just going to prepay and pre-order all this first allotment. And he's like, I don't have anything ready or set up. And we're like, just do it. And when you have it ready, ship it down. And now it's one of our most expensive chocolate bars. Not because he has it that expensive there, but it's just we have to pay to basically overnight it here. And it still sells out like crazy. We also have his salted caramel bar. We have his berry bar, which has all these dehydrated berries on it. Anyway, we love, though.
It's amazing.
This Texas brown butter, brittle.
That started in Austin. It's always going to be a local company to us.
So with the cheese, hoping to just play with that sweetness and that chocolate and bringing it in. I love chocolates and Gouda, and then pairing it with that fenugreek and that kind of herbaceousness. Yeah, it's good. I can't believe you. But I wanted you, if you have a little bite, to also go back and try this with the CKC chocolate orange chef. John can't do it because he ate all his.
I did not keep any of that chocolate.
Yeah.
That was so good, y'all. That was a good pairing. I like it. And I love fenugreek. I love the idea behind that that flavor profile. Again, smells like that maple syrup molasses experience. It's super cool. So I hope you like that one. It's an award-winning cheese, and it has a special place in my heart.
Okay. The next cheese is the one that when I polled a lot of cheesemongers out there and said, tell me your favorite flavored cheese, this one got the most random and a lot of votes, and I hadn't heard of it. John had, and he was like, oh yeah, da da da. And we'll tell you why that's important in a minute. But I was just like, oh really? I don't know what this cheese is, so I'm super excited to try it tonight. So this comes to you from Point Reyes Creamery out in California. The reason that's exciting is we're going to do a behind the scenes with them coming up in 3 weeks or so.
I haven't asked them yet. Hopefully they will.
It's like, maybe they'll say no. All right, so but our behind the scenes was something we really did when the pandemic started to help out our makers. They needed to move cheese. People were bored at home, and we're like, we want your like unfinished, uncut, just like you're walking through the creamery, show us what's happening style. And so it's been really fun because makers have been like rolling in the fields with their goats and whatnot, and we've just gotten like a really personal, intimate look into what it takes to make cheese. So hopefully we're going to begin doing that with them. They are known for these amazing blue cheeses, which they often win a lot of awards for. So Point Reyes Blue and Bay Blue. But then they also started making different style cheese called Toma, based off an Italian style cheese. And now they're doing some flavorings in there.
Yes. So Toma...
I was laying you up, and then you like agreed.
Yes. You did it. Outstanding. Well, Danielle said we were so cute together.
Oh, okay, all right, you're through.
I was thinking more about you.
Family-run business.
I can talk about that.
Giacomini's. Come on, bring it, honey.
Yes. So they started. Well, now you threw me off my game. That's all right. Whatever. Jill and Lynn, I got to work with both two of the Giacomini sisters while I was on the board of ACS at the American Cheese Society. They were both on at different times. And they're just powerhouses. They're just amazing women. And so they've moved from what was their signature product of these blues into some more of these aged style cheeses. I know they've got a Gouda now as well, not just the Toma. Yeah. But the Toma, it means, cheese made by the farmer. That's kind of the idea behind it. So this is sort of a semi-firm, semi-soft to firm style cheese. Toma itself is a plain cheese, but then they decided that they wanted to ratchet it up a little bit and start playing with flavors. So they have the original Toma, which is just plain, no flavor add. And then they have these guys, and this is Tomarashi. So this is shichichimi is the seasoning.
There's the kick.
It's coming?
Yeah. I was like, it's not there, it's not there. Woo.
Shichichimi togarashi is a Japanese spice blend. And it's got, spice, heat to it, poppy seeds, hemp seeds, chili flakes, ginger, and nori, some seaweed. And so this is a really cool concept to be playing with this kind of flavor. And this is my first time having it. So I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it.
Go taste it. What I'm doing right here, unless you think like, oh, she tapped out, is they had one other flavor for their Toma series.
Two others.
Okay, so I was looking to make sure, I was like, did we get the wrong one? Because I expected more of the brown.
Heat right up front.
No, like seaweed, like green and brown speckled. And I don't know what your piece is. My piece is more red speckled. So I was wondering if I got the wrong one. But I taste all the flavors that you said. I taste like sesame and the poppy hemp seeds. I definitely get the chili flake.
You can see it.
Yeah, but look, see how your piece has a lot more dark? My piece doesn't have any of that.
Yeah,
and so
I have some of mine, my love.
Oh, well, I was just wondering if I got a random piece.
That is
But we didn't. We got all the same
good.
piece. Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of people have said this is just like once you start eating it, you can't figure it out on your palate. And you just keep going back
And
for
you
more
just
and more.
want more. Love it. We're getting a ton of hell yeses on there. Flavor keeps building.
I feel like I get the poppy, get the hemp. It definitely tastes like a hemp.
Breathe
It's
out,
like my
and
sixth
you
grade
get some of
bracelet.
that nori. Don't forget to breathe out.
So-
That is cool.
And I would definitely go a white wine on this, dry white. We weren't sure because we hadn't tasted it yet what to pair with it. So this will be fun to try this out. And we had some lovers quarrels. But so we ended up going with candied citrus peel.
We wanted something. I was picturing like, hey, what would Tyson Cole do at Uchi, right? Like, how would he go about this? He'd probably add citrus. It's, citrus or some sort of vinegar would be the thing that he'd be playing with.
Whenever you have like a really fatty fish, then you put that little pop of citrus or acid to cut through it and to highlight it. And we also wanted the sweet with the spicy, so you get that in the candied peel with the heat of the cheese.
That is really good. I'm really proud of us, y'all.
My dog just jumped 2 feet up. We have a lot of fun when we're coming up with these pairings.
That is remarkable. And the heat comes through. It's as if you have a little like a sushi roll. You get a little bit of that seaweed flavor, a little hint of the wasabi on the back of the palate. But it's super good.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, we're doing
Y'all,
good.
that was awesome. Thank you for being a part of that.
Thanks
little
for being our
experience there.
experimental people, guinea pigs. I don't know. I need to make sure that doesn't have some bad connotation. But just going through the adventure with us. When we first opened a cheese shop, John is a CPA by trade. I ran a nonprofit program for survivors of human trafficking. My master's is in rights of migrants. And we were like, what are we doing? We don't have culinary degrees. People are going to call us frauds. And we said, you know what? We're just doing what we love and have fun to do. We're on this journey. We want to learn more about cheese, and let's just invite people along for the fun. And as long as we're always doing that and being true to that story and not acting like some expert that we're not, then nobody can argue with that. And here we are we've been open 10 years, but 12 years later than that first conversation, and we know a lot more, and the best way to learn is just by eating. Eating a lot, and putting your hands on a lot of cheese.
How many times have we been asked, like, what's the number one thing you can do to learn about cheese? And the answer is just eat more of it. Eat more of it. Do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Now we will forever remember Tomarashi with candied lemon peels. Anytime we have this in the shop, I'm going to have candied lemon peels at the same time.
We're going to get a t-shirt that says, what would Tyson Cole do?
What would Tyson Cole do?
How would Tyson pair this cheese?
I bet he'd love that.
For the record, we have done a cheese pairing at Uchiko before, so lest you think that rules of food cannot be broken, aka don't put cheese with fish, they can. All right, let's do our last one, because I'm excited for this too. Okay. So our last cheese, and you can taste it before me. I haven't got to taste this cheese. This is called New Woman. It is from Beecher's up in Washington. They are one of the only urban creameries, and by that it's just in city center at Pike's Place Market. You can see, except pandemic pending right now, but you can walk by and see them full on making cheese in city center, and then they have a cheese shop right there. Now they've expanded and they do mac and cheese and all these good take-home dinners. And then they also started up a creamery down in New York. So it's
in the iron. Why can't I think of the name?
I don't know. You're the New Yorker.
The Flatiron Building, in the basement of the Flatiron. That that iconic building that comes to a point. That's where you'd find Beecher's.
And you might say, well, why are they doing that? Well, the goal is, again, to show people how real food is made and to be in an urban city center and show this is how cheese is made. This is how it gets to your grocery stores and whatnot. So their New Woman in 2003-ish, or when they opened, Kurt Danmeyer, the owner, was obsessed. He is obsessed with Bob Marley, and so he made a cheese that was seasoned with all Jamaican spices. And it was called No Woman, based off of No Woman, No Cry. Okay, I'm sure we all knew where that was going. Mm-hmm. You didn't need me to do my interpretation of that. And then they had to switch up for some reason the jerk seasoning. And so it was just different enough that for their consumers, they wanted to make sure that they weren't acting like it was the same cheese. So they called it New Woman. They were like, it's still bold, it's unafraid, it's daring, but so we're going to call it New Woman instead of No Woman. Well, at the time, it also had a Rastafarian on it. And so it went from a male Rastafarian to a female Rastafarian. I reached out in the process of making this cheese and in the midst of a lot of really important conversations that are going on.
Making this cheese plate.
Yes. I didn't make the cheese. No. We knew what we were good at, and that's eating the cheese. It's not making the cheese. But in the midst of selecting cheeses for this cheese plate and with this really way overdue important conversations going on in our nation, I said, I'm curious, I'm concerned, is this cultural appropriation? How have y'all fielded this question, or what do you think about this? And the response that came back, I'm on the ACE Foundation, the American Cheese Education Foundation, and I sit on the board with Sarah Croft, who works at Beecher's, and she said, I'm so glad you asked. She goes, yes, we are always learning, and it originally started as this love affair for Bob Marley, but as we've gone through our education, we also realize that we probably shouldn't portray it this way. So they are switching all their labels to remove the Rastafarian, but until all those labels are gone, 100% of all the profits are going to a Jamaican nonprofit that supports women in Jamaica, run by a Jamaican woman. And then now they are switching over that whole process to a new, more culturally sensitive label. It will still have, because they love it and they love the homage to it, a Jamaican seasoning, but it would feel less like cultural appropriation, I think. And so I love that they were open about that conversation process and didn't shy away from it. And I'm proud that I just asked about it, because some of us are wondering where do we go and when do we say, is this right or is this wrong? And so I'm glad we had that conversation about it, and to find out that they're donating 100% of those profits right now. So this cheese is seasoned with Jamaican jerk, which then I got to look it up. It has black pepper, allspice, thyme, cayenne, bay leaves, cinnamon, and nutmeg, and a little bit of sugar. Is it hot?
Callie, no, it's not spicy.
I thought it was going to be really
That's
spicy.
What we thought.
Okay.
Callie said it's a whole meal. The cheese in itself is a whole meal.
Oh, it smells like a whole meal.
Tastes wonderful. It tastes so good right now. I've known it. Wow.
Excuse us for our cheese.
Yeah, hey now.
Okay. I thought it was going to be spicier.
I've known about this cheese since 2008, but I had never tasted it before.
This was the other cheese.
I am so excited.
the cheesemongers across the country were like, you have to put on this cheese, you have to put on this cheese. And like, if it's there, we just can't stop eating it. And we paired it with?
We paired it with a hot and crunchy pickled okra. Though Carrie is saying, go back to that tin mustard. That would 100% make sense.
That was another like argument. Discussion.
But this has turmeric spice blend with some chilies on it. It's outstanding, and it should go really just home run with this.
It does. I like it. I was worried that now the okra will overshine it, but now I'm getting the cheese coming back through as well.
That was awesome, because even Ellie had to get off to go to another event. She came back because it tasted so good. She wanted to hear more, to hear about it.
All right, so
that was awesome.
You guys, we just did our first ever flavored cheese tasting. If you loved it, let us know, because there are a lot of flavored cheesers out there, and we don't get to normally showcase them. And even though we don't normally showcase flavored cheeses, they're really good handmade and artisanal flavored cheeses that deserve the spotlight. And so we could do this all the time. We just weren't sure how it was going to go over or not. So let us know, and we can do different cheeses. But with that,
I don't know. I do these same 7 over. That was so good.
But this was a fun flavor bomb. Like we got to have fun together because we hadn't tasted a lot, and we got to like play with the flavor combos. Come on, this is going to be our What Would Tyson Do series.
That sounds fantastic.
We're going to get like, I don't know, some sort of
cease and desist.
Yes. Quit using my brand name. So huge thank you. I know we're at 7:01. We respect your time, and we just super appreciate, especially all you first timers. Especially all you repeat offenders. Tom, Perry, all of our friends who aren't even eating a cheese plate and are in the industry and nationwide and watching us, and family. Here is to all of us, every single one of us. Oh, it's coming. You never know what's going to come. Every single one of us is integral in just making our economy keep working and supporting our makers and taking care of each other and just being at home and isolated and alone. And so you coming into our home and us coming into yours. Just tonight, by you eating a hopefully fun plate of flavored cheeses, you are doing your part to support artisan producers, a movement called the Victory Cheese Movement, in which we are wanting to say, let's make sure when all this is done, we still have these good food makers. And you're supporting our family-run business. We haven't had to lay off or furlough a single team member, and in fact, we've hired people during this economy. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will end it on the fact that we are going into summer, and we have seen sales die off and dry out drastically in the last 2 weeks. So if you are willing and able, supporting I'm guessing that isn't just for us, supporting any of your local shops that you appreciate whenever you can, and your makers. And if you don't want to get it from us, getting it direct from them is also a good way to go. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support of our mission to do good, eat good. And we are really grateful you spent your Wednesday night with us.
Yes, we are grateful. Y'all are amazing. And I think what we need to do, because it was so much fun, is at least have the vote.
Oh,
we need to make sure that we hear what the best pairing was. So that way we can tell our team how they should try it.
Okay, while you're thinking of your vote, I thank you to Rambler. So they saw that every single tasting, John and I always have a Rambler. And then they're like, hey, why don't we give your customers some Rambler? Really, cheese is so fatty and palate coating that the effervescence of the bubbles just picks it up off your palate and cleans your palate and takes it back. That's why we love a sparkling water anytime we're doing some sort of food tasting. And Rambler is super awesome, not only because they're a local company that sources their water in an environmentally friendly way, but they also partner with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation. So they're just a good company, another great company to support. So thank you, Rambler. All right, voting time.
Yes, here we go. Voting
Clearly,
time.
I'm not a drummer.
You can only have 7 votes. And I never typed in what the final pairing was. So do you want to do the first one? I love chocolate orange.
Okay, ready? Whose vote is for no? You can. Oh yeah, you said the joke. You can vote 7 times. I don't need to say it. You heard it. Okay, whose favorite is number 1? The chocolate orange chef from CKC Farms.
I loved it tonight. I'm going to put a hand up for that with the Effies. I loved it.
All right. Whose favorite was number 2, the Petite Truffle, hailing from California?
So good.
All right, and in our right-hand corner, Winsordale Blueberry from Vermont Farmstead Cheese in Vermont.
Christine already threw her vote in for that one. All right, so did Patricia.
Okay, And in our lightweight category, I don't know why I got that voice. The bacon cheddar from Hook's Cheese.
With tin mustards.
With the tin mustard.
OMG.
Okay, and then coming in next and hot. I don't know all of these sportsy things.
We'll work on it.
The Fenugreek Marika Gouda with our chocolate.
That was so cool.
Here, I gotta keep doing this. Okay, and then next up, your Tomarashi from Point Reyes Creamery in California.
Tomarashi. It's got a good ring to it. Awesome.
It's like we're back in college. Okay, and then last but not least, the New Woman from Beecher's Handmade Cheese in Washington with our okra.
Woo! Callie, I don't know if you're still for that one. A whole meal and a cheese. It's awesome.
It's always funny when we do that on these Facebook Lives because the likes come delayed, and so we're like, which one did everybody like? I don't know.
They're all typing it in.
So our hope and goal is that all of our babies got a vote tonight.
And if they didn't, I voted for all 7.
I was going to say, oh, you're okay.
I love you. You're the best.
You
And
guys
you're
are
always the
awesome.
best. Yes. We think you're great. Give yourselves a high five. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Cheese to